Welcome in OllinoisPrep.com, the first of our conference previews, the Dupage Valley. We expected this to be, a way more, high-octane battle, but without Eichen and Butch not totally being on his A game this year, this looks like a Naperville Central domination. But the most interesting thing with the conference meets is who's going to get shaved that maybe other coaches don't think they are, especially if, even if it's a sectional kid, but you're convinced they're not going to make state, don't you shave them for conference so they can be a conference champion?
That's what you got to think about in the back of your head. How can I win conference? Every coach thinks it. Are there certain ways I can win conference?
Where I don't sacrifice state, basically.
Yeah, if you can win, because I would say conference is a bigger meet to win than sectionals.
Sectionals is all about getting there.
I wouldn't say all teams think that, but if you're a smart coach, you should be thinking about winning conference, and then after that, getting people to state.
Yep.
So it should be, their main focus should be all the guys that cannot score at state, have zero shot at scoring at state, and will not be on a relay, should, in theory, taper for conference. Yeah. If they haven't already tapered, obviously, for JV meet. But if they're at the level where they're getting past the JV meet, they're making a conference lineup, but they're not going to be on a relay, and they cannot score at state, you should taper them for conference. And teams like Naperville North and Naperville Central have a lot of guys, and there's a lot of guys that are not good enough to score at the state meet.
Well, and see, the interesting part there is, but Naperville Central has got a lot more guys that are going to score at state.
Yeah.
And so the question is,
they're going to be in the lineup.
Yeah, exactly.
The question is, do they have secondary guys that are not going to be on relays and are not going to be one of the top two spots at sectionals that are going to be faster than their top guys tapered?
Yeah.
Because some of these guys are just really good.
Right.
And so there's not a lot of room for Naperville Central to put tapered guys in their varsity lineup.
Right.
Because then you got two backstrokers that even someone tapered probably won't be faster than because they're going 54 flats
so,
all
no
season.
Spot there.
There's no spot for them in the IM.
Right. There's really no spot in the fifth year of the 100 when you got May, Zai, and Zhang.
Yeah. So, Naperville Central, the thing is, they almost don't need those guys.
Well, there's another guy. Yeah, another guy we didn't talk about. So there's at least one breaststroke spot where there's not going to be a shaved guy.
There's not going to be someone that's going to be beating all these people. Yeah. So the question is, can Naperville North figure out a way?
A couple shaved guys in relays.
Yeah. Taper guys, shave guys for conference that won't hurt them at the state level. Because I think Naperville North is they don't have a lot of depth at state. Right. They're basically focusing on Butts and Bessler.
And then relays.
Yeah. And so most likely they're only going to have about 2 or 3 other guys that they're even going to care about in terms of for the state meet. Those guys individuals, and find 2 or 3 other guys that are going to do something on relays with them. Yeah. So, they should be tapering the majority of their team here.
Right. I mean, that's the question,
And you can still bring them to sectionals, obviously.
Right.
I mean, that's not illegal. You can taper them and then still bring them on. And they if they're smart, they will do that. It's something that they should be trying to. Because, again, Naperville Central will not be shaving or tapering people for conference. Or at least not very many at the varsity level. So, if Naperville North, this is their time to try to put the hurt to Naperville Central. Because at a sectional level, they won't be able to do it. At a state level, they definitely won't be able to do it.
Right. And in Naperville, any head-to-head victory is a source of pride that you can hang your hat on going forward.
And I would say most years, whichever team is the top team in Naperville is the most hated team. Yeah. So right now, Naperville Central probably is the most hated team from other Naperville schools.
Especially when you're state champions.
Yeah. Coming back from being a state championship team, and you're still the best team in Naperville.
The biggest team that could throw a wrench into any of the events here is Wheaton Co-op, because they have a kid who's a state scorer, a couple of them. One's a diver and one's a swimmer, the biggest one being Colin Hogan.
Yeah. So, can Colin Hogan come in here? He hasn't really been swimming that fast, but then again, neither has Noah Wood from Naperville Central. And Butts is very shaky. He's thrown out a 4.44 this season, but then he goes up and goes 4.58 or 5 flat at other meets. So he needs to go back to that 4.44 range to make sure he has a guaranteed victory in the 5 and hope that Hogan can get second over Noah Wood.
Exactly.
If he wants, or if Naperville North is going to have any shot. So anything that Wheaton can do, and they're mainly the only other team there in terms of that has good swimmers, The other teams just aren't very strong. So, other people like Hogan, other people on Wheaton are going to have to hopefully. Well, the thing is, Wheaton's probably not going to shave too many people.
Right.
So that's really not, besides Hogan.
They know they can't make a lot of noise. They might as well try and qualify for state.
Yeah. So, and that's, again, where it gets tricky. If Hogan somehow wins the 500, then it's hurting North. So Wheaton could either help North or hurt them.
Yeah, I agree. The best thing that can happen is Butts win in terms of North trying to make it interesting with Central is Butts wins the 2 and the 5, and Hogan gets second, knocking down anyone else the Naperville Central's going to put in there.
And Bessler's got to find a way to take out the backstrokers and
the IMers,
and which is almost the same people, but obviously he's got to take
Weeks
out Weeks and he's got to take out Weeks and Depew in the IM and Depew and Lehane in the backstroke.
When we come back from a short break here, we're gonna decide whether or not Naperville North can pull this off. But again, a reminder, we're closing in less than a month away from live at B-Dubs, breaking down what happened in sectionals and doing some state preview in the Naperville area, and then up on the North Shore on Sunday, Monday, leading up to State Week. When we come back, predictions for the Dupage Valley Conference. Welcome back in. So, it's time for predictions. Is Naperville North got what it takes to pull this off?
If they had Eichen, we've been saying that all year, I think they probably could. At least at a conference level. They could probably take down Naperville Central because they just have that one extra guy, that would help them, especially on relays.
Oh, yeah.
So, they might be able to throw a Butts, Bessler, Eichen, and then one shaved guy on a relay and win all 3 relays.
And he might be able to knock May off in the 100.
Yeah, and so I don't think that Naperville North is going to have enough of wild cards to shave and taper to take down the big-time threat of Naperville Central.
I agree. I think the other thing is, and it's hard, I think, as a coach, to tell a kid who might think they can qualify for state to say, yeah, we're shaving you for conference. And they're going, wait, I thought I was going to sectionals. Oh, well, you still are. Well, I don't want to shave till sectionals. So that's the other sort of emotional thing you have to play with teenagers is managing the egos, managing the expectations. And so usually, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to say, oh, I should just save this kid for sectionals.
Yeah.
And so even if they could, you might end up not shaving quite enough kids. And it's definitely, it's hard. It's not easy. And, you got to deal with the kids, the parents, and, everything that goes into that. But, yeah, probably it's not going to be enough. It would certainly be a huge story if Naperville North pulls off the upset. And it should be a fun one in the DuPage Valley Conference. That'll wrap it up here for this one. We do have 3 more conferences to preview this week, so look out for those here on the Skylar King Show at IllinoisPrep.com.